no typical girl. I ain't no typical. I ain't cheerleading while the boys play ball. I ain't no typical girl. No. I wanna be right there in the middle of it all. And welcome back to another episode of the Music Cafe. Hey, thank you so much for joining us this evening / afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Welcome. If you are a regular, thank you so much for joining us yet again. Oh, we've got some comments. Hello, fame.org. Yay.za. Thank you so much for being part of the Music Cafe, fame.org. I will be chatting a bit about who they are in a minute, but thank you so much for watching. And hello, Stu. Oh, I'm also looking forward to this. Today, we've got a great lineup. But before we get into the lineup, let me first chat to anyone that's new. Hello. If you are new, do me a favor. Pick up your cell phone / iPad or whatever you're watching this on. Go to the kitchen, put the kettle on, make yourself a cup of tea, grab a piece of cake, and sit down and get comfy. Because we're going to be having a good fat chat. And this is about having a conversation about music, the industry, the entertainment industry, about life, all of the above. So if you have any comments, hello, how are you? If you have any comments, pop them wherever you are, Facebook or YouTube, or questions. We're able to answer your questions, chat about your comments, all of the above. I am so excited for tonight's lineup because there's some people that I really do admire. So first up, we've got a wonderful lady that I've known for a little while who's quite well known in this industry. She's a radio presenter. She's a bit of everything. And her name is Kerry-Anne Allison. Hi, Kerry-Anne. How are you?
Hi, Sandra. I'm so good. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's so good to see you, and thank you so much for being on this evening. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always so good seeing you.
Oh, awesome. Well, next up is somebody that you know. Her name is Bunny Majaja. Hi, Bunny.
Hello. How are you?
Good in you. It's so good seeing you. We saw each other two weeks ago? 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes, we did the... it all becomes one long year. So I have no idea, but we did a co-hosting thing with Majaja's takeover, so that was really fun, and I got to meet you for the first time, and I love your energy and I love your positivity.
Likewise. I think it's so fantastic to meet. You know, when you know somebody from on air, obviously we play your music, and I thought, oh, what a upbeat, super cool gal, and then to meet you, it's exactly what your music is like.
Oh my gosh!
So to see you, Carrie. How are you doing? I'm so good. Thank you so much, babe. How are you? Fantastic. You look cozy. I really wish I should have put on a couple more layers, I think.
Put on a fire next to you. You're good. No, but thank you so much for being on today, Bunny. Likewise, I love your energy and I love your spunkiness and everything about you. So I'm excited to chat about this today. And last but not least, we've got someone who I've known for a number of years, who's literally watched me grow up. I've known since I was a kid, which is quite weird, but he is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. I love his family. I love his writing. We've co-written together, and I love him. His name is Bruce Dennell. Hi, Bruce.
Hello. Hello.
Here we go. We're a bit tricky with the internet.
I'm very...
It's a glitchy.
It's very glitchy. That's very sad.
Jealous.
Oh dear. It'll catch up in a minute. I'm going to do that, and I'll let it catch up. And we'll get there. Anyway, so I'm really excited for today's conversation because we're chatting about radio, we're chatting about blogging, we're chatting about the industry, how it's evolved, how it's changing. And Bunny, you're not only a presenter, but you're also an artist as well. So I mean, you're sort of dabbling in a few worlds. So is Bruce, and then Kerry-Anne. You sort of you are right there in the front when it comes to promoting artists, being there for artists, being there for women. We were literally on the phone on Saturday, yesterday, with your show. So it was really cool just to like be on your show for a minute and chat about today's show and everything. So I'm so happy to be chatting to two powerful, encouraging women in this industry. So I'm going to wait for Bruce to pop on, but while he's doing that, I think we should go around the room and just so people know who they're watching. So Kerry-Anne, would you be able to start off with just giving us a hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are and what you do?
Alexandra, firstly, thank you so much for that intro. You're too kind and you're just a ray of sunshine. So it's always wonderful to have you on my show. And thank you so much for having us tonight. You're incredible.
Oh,
so, I've been in the music industry for around 20 years. I started managing artists and tours. And then I went into radio. That's where I met the lovely Bun Buns. You're so beautiful and you look amazing. It's so great to see you here, Bunny. So I've been presenting Balcony TV, which then morphed into Discover TV. And more recently, I'm presenting a show with Marshall Music called The Marshall Hangout with Kerry-Anne. So every week, I feature an artist, they perform, and we talk a bit about equipment and the music industry and music in general, really. So that's fun. I love collaborating with Marshall Music. It really is such a treat. And I've just launched an online platform with some great players, Ross, Ardell, Liz, Jenna. We're a great team. It's an online platform with a ticketing side to it, so you can perform online, you can sell your merchandise online, and it's not just for music but for all entertainment across the board. We didn't know how long this lockdown was going to last for, so from theatre and acting to education to music, it's just a great platform for anyone to jump onto and perform, and that they're able to sell tickets, merchandise, etc. That's called mzanzilive.tv. And I'm also a DJ, so not a radio DJ, but I DJ events. And I MC. That's about it. Enough from me.
That was a fantastic hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are. I'm pretty sure anyone would swipe right for you.
Swipe right.
So they would even pay for the super like, Kerry-Anne. They would pay for that super like. Bunny's got it. No, you have so many talents, and you are such a ray of sunshine. And I've loved chatting to you. We chat over WhatsApp, and we're always keeping up to date with what we're doing. And it's so great to know that there's another woman out there who is encouraging other women as well. So just amazing, and I can't wait to get into your journey as someone who's been in this entertainment industry, and how it's changed and how it's changing now, and going into this new world as well, because everything's going online. Everything is changing, so it's a whole new world out there. And what you're doing with mzanzi.tv is mzanzilive.tv is like right in the front of it. So can't wait to chat about that as well. But let's hop to that's funny. Let's hop to Bunny. I didn't plan that at all. I've not been working on that all day at all. So,
paid off.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sweat, blood, and tears. So, Bunny, yes, hashtag Tinder buyer version of who you are.
Well, I can say that listening to Kerry, I think we should call her the ageless Kerry-Anne, because when you said 20 years, I was like, when, where, how? Are exquisite, and truly speaking, you are the dream. All the things that I would like to be able to do, you've basically mentioned them all. I also MC. One day when I'm big, I'd like to DJ. I've been practicing, and hopefully when somebody might hire me. But in the meantime, yes, Kerry-Anne and I were together on air before, because it's a teeny tiny industry. I kind of tried my luck on one of these singing TV shows, and that was kind of my jump start into the music industry. And it's probably since about 2013, I've kind of been shuffling around trying to find my feet, really. So I have a daily show on air on Hot 91.9. I sing, I MC, although I haven't done a lot of my own stuff, like original music, which is very bad, not good. But I think it's just one of those things where you get kind of distracted. But as I said, like what Kerry's doing is 100% the dream. When I was in a band, I was on Balcony TV. So really beautiful how these platforms are interconnected and they really speak to each other, and they to promote live music in South Africa, to promote original music in South Africa. I mean, it's really exquisite to be able, and I think we both come from a space where, you know, we play a lot of South African music on the radio station as mandated, but also because we know we need to support local artists. So that's what I do. Yes, when Corona isn't trying to ruin our lives, I do mostly corporate gigs, singing, emceeing, and yes, as I said, aspiring to be a DJ.
That is so awesome. I can't wait to hear. As soon as you have your first DJing gig, I'm going to be there in the front row. Yeah.
Sam.
So Kerry-Anne and I'm going to be there in the front row. No, that is fantastic. And you mentioned again Balcony TV, and Balcony TV was one of my very first gigs back in the day. I mean, I think I played on piano. I played highlights. In fact, I'm pretty sure I played highlights all those years back. And it was beautiful in the middle of Joburg on the top of this balcony. Was stunning. And it is amazing how the internet is, how different platforms have changed and how they've integrated, and all the people the industry is a small industry, and we all know each other. I guess it's a good thing. I mean, Kerry-Anne, you've been in this industry for a minute. You kind of know your stuff, maybe. So, I mean, when it comes to the small industry, do you think it is small, or is it actually bigger than we think? Are we just overreacting?
I think it's bigger than we think it is. I think there's so many artists that are undiscovered and that don't get the chance to be showcased. It's so difficult, especially in South Africa. And I'm not making any excuses. I think if you have an end goal and you work hard enough, slowly but surely you're going to get there, I guess. But for so many people, and we can ask Bunny about this, it's so hard to be recognized or to be given a platform because there's so many artists and so few platforms, so few live venues. So really difficult. And you know this too, Alexandra. You've both just done it for yourselves. But not everyone is as brave and as kick-ass as the two of you are. You went out there and did it for yourselves, but not everybody knows. There isn't a book that gives you a step-by-step guide on how to make the music industry, and once you do make it, how to stay there and how to keep that longevity and how to keep on going, because the hits do keep on coming as well. If you're an artist in a small space, even though I said there's a lot that still needs to be discovered and so many more platforms to be created, it's still quite difficult. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Kerry-Anne, you've hit the nail exactly on the head. I don't really know too much to add, but I can say this: I always try to guard myself against kind of grass is greener syndrome, where, you know, as you're saying, like it's a small industry, that kind of thing. I think our problem really is that South Africans we're too talented. That's the problem. There's just too many of us. So talented. And I must though lament, I mean, and you know, this is even before Corona, I must lament the lack of live venues, specifically like across genres, because you'll have, you know, one venue for one genre, one or two venues for one genre. Do you know what I mean? Where, and you'll know this as well, Alex. Well, actually, Kerry-Anne too, because you're quite well traveled. If you go to other places, I mean, I'll never forget being in Berlin, and you kind of walk down the street of restaurants, and it's like a live metal band, and you have to pay to get in, and that means artists are getting paid, in my mind anyway. Yep. You pay to get in, and two doors down, it's like a Swedish jazz trio, and you pay to get in, and the entire street is just busy with any genre you could possibly think of, like acoustic, this, that. So the only thing that and again, I do have to guard myself against that whole grass is greener syndrome, that somewhere else is the land of milk and honey. We really need to be, I suppose, proactive in whatever we can do to create these platforms for ourselves here. Exactly what Kerry-Anne is doing, on digital platforms, because I don't expect you to start a venue right now, but it wouldn't be far off the mark with all the work that you've done thus far anyway, Kerry-Anne. So it's just one of those things where, I don't want to say like a poor us, but I mean, I think it can be a little bit sticky and tricky when, it feels like the fame, the movie Fame, and everybody's jostling to be on top. So it is one of those things.
It does feel that way sometimes, like you said, you mentioned the fame metaphor, I guess. It does feel that way sometimes, but I think the reality is, and Christina Aguilera said it years and years ago, and it's saying that I still say today, that there's enough space on my iPod for everyone. And I believe that there's enough space on my iPod for everyone. There's enough space in my diary for all the, everyone that I've met. And so that's my view on it. But I'm going to pause for 2 whole seconds. I'm going to hold on to that thought balloon because I like where this conversation's going, but I'm going to bring Bruce back up.
Yay!
Hello, Bruce.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good.
My weekly death off the internet.
No, I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. That's perfect. It's perfect. Awesome. So we've already started chatting, but before I get you to hop in now, can you just give our viewers a hashtag Tinder Buyer version of who you are and what you do?
That's terrifying, the Tinder version. Okay, so I'm a writer with a bunch of irons and a bunch of different buyers. So I edit magazines and write for magazines, and I'm a singer-songwriter, and I have hosted a radio show. I'm not on that end of the industry at the moment, and I kind of co-write books, and I do basically anything with is either co-writing or using. Have you got me?
Yes, you're back. There we go. We had a glitch, but we're good.
Where did I go? All right. Do I need to repeat some of that?
No. Co-writing, writing.
Yes. So pretty much, if you can do it, if you can write doing it, or if I can use my voice doing it, then I'll do that. I'll write, or I'll talk, or I'll sing, and hopefully most of it will make sense.
No, that's so cool. And we've co-written together, non-linear love. And one of my favorite songs that I've written, it's a beautiful song.
I love that song. I really do. It's I've co-written a few in the last year or so, and I think it's one of the top 2. We'll see. Good or bad. I love it.
That's so cool. Thanks, Bruce. Well, I mean, we're having this conversation, and we sort of jumped in with this myth of a small industry, and I mean, you were backstage. I don't know if you heard much, but I mean, what are your thoughts on that when it comes to this? Everyone says it's a small industry, everyone knows each other. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's largely true in that, I mean, Bunny, we haven't met, but we do know each other. Kerry and I know each other. You and I know each other well. It does happen very often like that you do kind of cross each other's paths, and we need to kind of behave in that way. We need to play nicely with the other children. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, sure.
But I think there is that thing I caught a little bit about. Bunny, you mentioned too many talented people, and it is a problem I'm finding now in terms of the digital kind of wave of stuff that's coming at you. Is that we're all advertising, this interview included, this show included, that we want somebody's time now, where they digitally they have access to Netflix and Showmax and all of that as well. But also it might be a fundraising gig somewhere, or there's a theatre show, or there's something else, And we need to keep an eye on that, and try and remember that people have time constraints. I must say, I find it interesting from a writer's point of view, as a critic, going to a show, because you were going somewhere, you could kind of separate that from whatever else you were doing. I'm a dad and a husband as well. So if I was going to the theatre or going to the venue, then I could focus on that, and I could put that time aside. Now, if I'm looking at my computer at my house, because I've got my guitar here for a little later, I can't be next door to my daughter's room because she's sleeping, and so on and so. So there's a kind of different mind space in how we consume art and stuff as well. and entertainment. And I think that a lot of people are still getting used to that, and it takes a bit of time.
Yeah, that's actually so true, because I was having a conversation with the producers and directors of IBM.TV, which is this network, and we're just working on a music marathon of 24 hours around the world, because it's an international platform, 24 hours of music, and looking at the hosts in different countries, or however we're going to run it. And I was sort of, I've been on a few of these online festivals now in the States, and just looking at how they're doing it. And like you're saying, Bruce, it's people's attention now, and how do you make it worth their while, and is it valuable enough? And so it's just different ways of putting your art across. Like, that you can't have a big band playing because the sound quality isn't going to be great, and you want that experience to be on point for the viewer and for the listener to experience the music and experience the story. So it's interesting how art is changing. And Kerry-Anne and Bunny, when it comes to artists that you've come across as well, are you seeing that artists are starting to apply themselves differently online, or is it similar to how they would have done back in the past with the 3 times 45-minute sets? Like, how is it changing for artists from your point of view?
Do you want to go first, Carrie?
I was going to say the same to you, Benny. I recently judged a Battle of the Bands, and the band that everyone thought was going to win because they were the best band all round didn't win, because they didn't take notes as well as the other band did in terms of marketing it. So the band that actually won was also a great band, but they took the advice from their peers, from the judges throughout the rounds, and they put more time in and more marketing, and they won at the end of the day. So I think it's got so much to do with applying yourself across the board. It's not just about being a good band with some great tunes. You've got to be a good band with great tunes, but with the right energy, the right follow through. You've also got to be respectful of the other musicians. And this is a note that I'd given to all of the artists that had joined, because I watched them, and the bands that stayed and supported all the other bands got more points from me. I feel like a lot of bands arrive at a gig, and yes, you don't always want to stay because you've had a long day, you've rehearsed, you've been hanging around. I totally understand that. But you're seeing it more and more often, which bands are staying to support the other bands, and which ones fly in, do their gig, and fly out. I think we've got to support each other in whichever field we're in. Bunny is phenomenal, and I am always trying to see what she's up to. I'm always trying to catch her show. I'm always checking out what Bruce is doing and what you're doing. And I think we all need to support each other. The more we support each other, the more the industry is going to grow, and the stronger we'll all become. So that's my point of view.
Definitely. I think I can really echo what you're saying about support. And I think maybe we could just stand to be a bit more vocal about it and be kind of more explicit in our support, as you're saying, like to stay to support people. I can say, though, from a digital perspective, well, I can say that I've been involved in 1 or 2 of these digital live performances, and then also just kind of like round table experiences. And I do think that it's kind of changing the way that people, I've seen the ones where you have to pay to watch, and it'll be like an hour chunk of time. And as Bruce was saying, I think there's a hell of a lot of competition in terms of what people are willing to pay for, what people are willing to allocate their time to. And again, it comes back to this whole, if we look at like the live culture and the live scene before Corona, I don't know if it's just me, things that I've observed, that I don't know if South Africans, sometimes it hurts their feelings to pay to see artists. So sometimes I kind of feel like, my heart bleeds when people, it's still a similar, it's the same. It's the same kind of effort that you put in to rehearsal, to producing a good product. Although Kerry-Anne did mention marketing is now changing, you obviously got to have to kind of up your game in that aspect. But ultimately, you're still doing much of the same. And I'm finding that if you're finding yourself in a digital space, some of the artists are doing it for free, and other artists are doing it for a small amount of money, considering the amount of people that have to then be on board from a sound perspective, from a technical perspective. Even in this stream, I can see this back end. It's not magical. Yeah. There are actually humans who are also dedicating their time. So, I think it's just one of those things that specifically the global pandemic has really squeezed a lot out of this industry. And I mean, I'm not going to again sing a sad song, but it's taking a lot for people to really, pick up and pivot and make it worthwhile. As Kerry-Anne is saying, you have to be, yes, a good band, but you've also got to show good sportsmanship, and you've also got to be on point with your marketing, and you've got to really have your story straight. So I can say that's what I've observed, even with artist friends of mine who have been in the industry for yonks, and I think, sure, I would have paid 500 rand to see that. Because of the place and time we found ourselves in, it's just not the case.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole idea of paying for something is it's such a normal thing to do. You pay for anything, you pay for everything. But just when it comes to art, people just expect that it's you don't pay for this. Like when you go to a bar, when you go to a restaurant, there's someone there playing a 45-minute set, and you just hear this music in the background. That's this radio music. But something that is not really a thing in South Africa, but is a huge thing in the States, is tipping the band. And it's a bit of a foreign thing. Only a few venues are doing it. And actually, one of my favorite venues in the whole wide world is Railways Cafe up the road in Pretoria. And they pay their artists what they can. They literally message you and say, this is what we can afford. But we will also ask people at their tables to add a tip to their bill, and we'll split it equally. And I think that's such an interesting way to now actually get the audience to sit back and say, okay, they're suggesting that we tip the artist who is actually playing then, and do I like what they're playing? And now you're having to work for your audience. Now you're having to work hard for your audience, which makes it so much more fun than having to just sit there and know that it's not going to go anywhere. So, I mean, do you think that tipping is going to become now a thing? Because even with the BRS QR codes that people have been using, it's a bit of a trend now for live streams. Is that becoming a thing? Do you think people are really enjoying it? Are people really donating or tipping? Or do you think it's just a phase and it's a COVID-19 thing, Kerry-Anne?
I think that the trends around the world catch on in South Africa a little bit later. And I think tipping a band is the right thing to do, especially if the venue is allowing free entry. John Shaban's been doing it in Cape Town for years, and he's been doing so well. The Cape Town crowds really do get involved, and they really do tip well. After this COVID-19 thing, people don't have money across the board. So we're trying to support the arts and the artists, and we've been trying to do that for how long? But now people don't have money, and they don't have disposable income. So with these live streams, like Bunny was saying, people, and like you said with the busker code, people want to watch the show, but they may not have the money to do so. And I've been seeing that on the online platform that I've created in mzanzilive.tv. Ticket sales are slow because I think, firstly, people can't get their heads around watching a show on their laptop or on their cell phones. It's just such a strange way of doing things.
Having difficulty watching a series on Netflix, though.
This is the other thing. Netflix has, and I love Netflix, but in a way has taken so much away from the live scene in South Africa, because so many more people are staying at home and cuddling up on the couch and binge watching a series as opposed to going out and watching a band. When we got Netflix, it was obvious to all of us in the scene that venues got quieter and quieter. And now I know that I think nine places on the strip in Melville closed down. Hell's Kitchen and Smoking Kills are still open, and Smoking Kills had live music today for free, and still people are afraid to go out. So there was a nice crowd, but not a huge crowd. And how much money did they make? I know that Smoking Kills gives them a bar tab and tries to pay them as much as they can, but it's just such a tricky space we find ourselves in. And I just feel like it's so sad. And I was fighting this fight way before Corona, is that I feel like art is as important as heart surgery. I think that music puts people through so much, and it amazes me that artists across the board aren't getting paid a hell of a lot more. Bruce, for your words, Bunny, for your vibe and your energy and your music, and Alexandra, for everything that you do in the music industry. You should all be getting paid a fortune, because you're helping people through suicide, through depression. You're taking them back. You're reminding them of people that they've lost, of moments that they've in time. And I feel like that saves people just as much as doctors do. And in Europe, when artists don't perform a certain amount of shows, they get subsidized by government. And I feel like that should be happening around the world, because the arts are just as important as doctors and lawyers.
100%. If I could just add on my little 2 cents, it's the fact that it's safe, and it's also the fact that it's like the entire culture and history of a society is laden in the arts. It's in the poems, in the books, in literature, in music, in the stuff that we create for the television as well. And then between the two of you, you've actually brought something up interesting about watching kind of on-demand television. Bruce, you were saying how people are happy to go home and stream Netflix, and perhaps not so happy to go and perhaps watch an artist. But the interesting thing is the on-demand aspect. Is it a case of us perhaps doing like a back catalogue of live performances in a time like this? A back catalogue of live performances that people can then stream on demand and pay, versus appointment listening. That's like, this band is going to be on, and that's what Kerry-Anne was saying about the the culture is quite different. It's a different experience for you to go out and be. Well, actually, it was Bruce that said that, for you to go out and have your attention completely consumed by this live experience. I think it's very interesting.
I just add on there as well. I we'd all love that if there were just thousands of these people that would come to all the shows and theatre as well, and book launches and just all this wonderful stuff. We know that there aren't. And we were talking about a small industry earlier. I think there were just, broadly speaking, two kinds of people: people who are wanting to invest in the craft behind art, whatever it is, writing, theatre performance, music, just anything, DJing, whatever. And there are and people that aren't, and it's understandable and it's okay, but it is incredibly frustrating that you can't. And again, things like Spotify is another one that obviously with music, if you can stream 6 million songs or 6 billion songs, who knows, whatever's on there. I understand. I love Spotify. I listen to it all the time. But I'm also interviewing the artists and trying to do my bit to give them some publicity and putting those stories on my blog and all of that kind of thing. And supporting radio and little things. Again, we were talking about audience support. Just retweet somebody's ad for their gig. If you can't make it, that's fine. But tell the people that are following you on Facebook. Try and share it. And again, don't do it with every single one, because then people will feel that you're spamming them. But if they understand that you are punting something that you believe is good, and they know that your quality filter is good, they might go, listen, this is going to be something worthwhile having a look at. So it's not hard to support, but it does require a decision to support.
Yeah, it's very true. And I mean, I know with Bruce, with your Facebook, what you're describing, you're one of the best people for that. You're always sharing everyone's work, new releases, new gigs coming up, which is just, something you really, it's amazing to see that. So thank you very much for doing that on behalf of artists. Thank you very much for doing that for us. But just speaking about these live shows online, I mean, I remember back in the beginning of lockdown, we had like Phantom of the Opera and Cats playing on the TV, and I remember thinking, no, I'm gonna wait for like Phantom. I'm gonna wait for that show and build up to the Friday. It's only available for 24 hours. I'm gonna be there Friday night. I'm gonna watch this, and it was incredible to watch that performance. I mean, if we were to work up, like Bunny was saying, like there's a backlog of work that we could create. Do you think that we need to have like big events, get a bunch of artists in there, film it beautifully, record it beautifully, and then put that on? Do we need more of those platforms during COVID-19, or do you think it's something that's just going to phase out and we're going to go back to those live performances and it's going to become unnecessary? Kerry-Anne or Bunny, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I was really hoping that this would be the return of the drive-in, right? It's like, if we can't be together in a room together, why can we not do the drive-in vibes? So, I mean, while we're kind of like facing pandemic things and we can't really be in each other's space, I would really, like in a dream world, and also I've seen some really interesting examples online of how they are making things work, and where there's a will, there's a way. They're making concerts work by creating little separated platforms. And before the platform thing came out, they were doing it at drive-ins where you could come in and sit in your car and watch a live band. Ultimately, there is nothing, even as midget as I am, and I only ever see shoulder blades at a live show, there is nothing like jostling, with other people, and it's like shared energy. So ultimately, of course, the dream is to return to a place where we can all kind of breathe each other's air. But definitely, I think wherever there's a will, there's a way. There's got to be ways for us to do things, and it's just a case of innovating and more people getting on board with the new ways to do things. But like, why are we not doing drive-ins? I thought this was it.
I'm also like confused because it's a huge thing in especially in Nashville. Everyone is doing it. Like all the country artists are all on their little platforms and everyone's driving it. It's incredible. I mean, I'm like, why can't we even do like, worship evenings and whatever like this? I'm dying to do one of those, but I mean, it's crazy. No one's doing this. Sorry. Also, Kerry-Anne, you wanted to say something and you are on mute. There we go.
I agree with Bunny, and I agree with you. Just to touch on the drive-in, Jam-Pack Productions are doing so much. They're also interviewing so many artists across the board, and they put together a couple of drive-in performances. So I do think we should try and do more of those. But things are slowly opening up, and I, for one, have already started booking artists every Thursday night. I'm putting on very special shows. I think now is the time to put on incredible shows. Gone the days of putting a band on and who cares what happens after that. I think it needs to be great sound, great lighting, great performance, intimate shows, safe shows, and shows with a bit of an edge, something a bit more unique that people really want to see, as opposed to just a band performing wherever. I think the artists deserve great lighting and great sound and a great stage to perform on as well, and so do the patrons coming to watch the shows and paying the money to do that. But on the other side of the coin, I think before lockdown and with Netflix and all of these things becoming a thing and so much going on online, people are starting to fear going out. I knew a very famous writer. She was a very close friend of mine. And as the years went on, she became more and more afraid to go out, and she got so many different phobias. And I think that's happening more and more. People don't know how to interact with people in the real life because everything is happening online, from dating to chatting to people online to watching Netflix to reading books online. So that is the other side of the coin. So I think that people do need to create this content and put it on platforms for those who are maybe too scared to go out just yet because of the pandemic, those that are just too afraid to go out in general, maybe single parents. There's so many people out there that could benefit from material going out online. So when I was thinking about mzansiLive.tv, I did a show with some artists and I put it on as a free show, and it stayed there. It's still there now on the library and people can go and watch it. they can pay a certain amount to watch the ticket. I also put that same show onto my radio show today with a Quicket link. And it was a 45-minute live show that people got to enjoy. And they were then able to go to Quicket and donate as much or as little as they were able to. So I think we need to keep on creating platforms, and as does, and as Bunny does, and as you do, share. If you can't get to the gig, if you can't afford to get to the gig, for whatever reason, share the post, tell your friends about it, and spread the love that way.
No, totally. Spread the love. I love that.
There's an aspect, well, I mean, it ties into this. There's an aspect of the live shows that we can't get online, which is that sense of community, in whatever sense it is. And it will be different communities. If I go to a theatre opening at that theatre on the square, then it's people that probably are in the Santon area, and it's theatre people, and it's this, and I know most of them, and I love most of them, and it's just not that guy, I don't love him. No, I'm kidding. But it's just you are there, and you're seeing friends, and you're in this wonderful heart space before the show starts. And then you have a lovely show, and you have the time to talk about it afterwards, and laugh about it, and share a drink as well. And at a gig as well. I mean, I was just thinking again with that disconnect with online and going somewhere. I was invited to a metal gig last night online. No one in my family likes metal. I'm very keen to see what's happening, to see what's going down, but I can't play it in there. So I must come out and sit in this tiny little room here, which is across the backyard, and so on, whatever. And there's just that kind of attraction goes. But Kerry, to your point of people being afraid to go out, I mean, there are security issues at night, particularly if you're driving by yourself. If I play a gig in Honeydew, or Ellie, which venue I'm talking about, but you drive halfway across the country to get to the gig, and you're coming home at 2 a.m. You understand why that can be nerve-wracking, and maybe part of that innovation is a time thing as well. As we get back into interpersonal interactions, you can have a hard rock gig at 12 noon. It doesn't have to be at 11 p.m. Let's break some conventions there, and put it in a place where people are happy to go in the middle of the day, or where there's safer parking, or where whatever the quality of the food is better. As you were saying, Kerry, make the whole package more attractive.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Bunny was saying that there's nothing like going to a live gig. You said it too. And for anyone who knows me, I'm absolutely addicted to going to live shows. I try and watch about 5 times a week, if I can. And there's nothing quite like it. When you're paying that money to go and watch a show, I'm paying to be pushed, and to feel the sweat, and to dance, and to sing at the top of my lungs, and to see my friends, and I'm paying for the whole experience. So so there is something very special about live gigs. But Bruce, we need to push this. You're so right. Hell's Kitchen and Smoking Kills, just to use them as an example, and Railways Cafe and Irene, they're starting to put bands on during the day, where you can go and enjoy the sun, enjoy the music. Some of them have tip jars. So we're slowly but surely getting there. We just need to, need to venues more and the artists more. But I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I actually about 2 weeks ago, I was at Railways Cafe 4 weeks ago, whenever it was, and it was my first gig in 6 months. Literally, my last gig was middle of March. I was literally about to board the plane to Nashville, and then Corona hit, and I was like, I can't go. And my last gig was literally at Railways, and my first gig after 6 months was at Railways. And to get paid that little bit of money for your craft was incredible, and to see people reacting to music is incredible. But the other day, I have a friend who owns a little cafe called DC Coffee in the Four Ways area, and I messaged them and I said, would you be okay if my friend and I just came and did some busking outside your cafe? We would like your permission to do this, just some busking. And I was surprised that so busking, you just literally open up your guitar case, you play music on the street, and people will tip as they walk past. And it was like, it's a concept that is quite foreign to South Africans, which I found very interesting. Again, it's that tipping idea where you tip the entertainment. And they were so overwhelmed with someone wanting to play at their venue because they've got a real loyal following, and they've been supported throughout COVID, and this little cafe has survived COVID-19. They actually said, no, please, can you come inside, play on our balcony? Will you please come inside? They gave us coffee. They tipped us. People in the restaurant were tipping us. It was incredible just to see your guitar case go from empty to just a few notes in there. And again, you only earn like a couple $100 from that, but just to feel that from people, and people are wanting that experience. It's a beautiful little cafe. It's outdoors. It was a great day. There was some really fun music. My friend and I, Christian Bartman, who's actually busy watching now, we were busy jamming some great tunes, and just to be in that environment around good people. And I think it's, again, that space just to create in those cafes those special moments for people where there's just this really cool music. It's a great cup of coffee with a great cheesecake. Just creating those moments is so important.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
Bruce,
somebody grabbing the moment there, and I know Neil at least, and he's a wonderful bloke, you know. And it's that thing of that's where we need to support, because we are saying, and we do have to support all the venues. Of course we do, but some of the venues, and there's no need to mention any names, some of the venues don't have that kind of open-mindedness or generosity or whatever. And where people take the initiative, let's leap into their arms and support them. That's the thing to do, I think.
Totally. Sorry, Bunny, as well.
No, I was just going to say the busking thing. I think it's strange that it's foreign to us, but I suppose we've also got a different kind of culture where, you know, the venue will pay you or you will do a tickets at the door kind of vibe. But it's always been kind of on a bucket list is to busk Berlin and trust the Germans to have the permit system, and you have to register and wait for 3 months to make sure you be on this corner. But it really is part of a culture that we maybe need to start, kind of inculcating of tipping. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like the busker QR code as well. But as you're saying, like, I think once people kind of get into the vibe of, that over and above what the venue is paying, over and above what you believe that, if you enjoy something, if you had a good time, if this was worth your while and you've come in for free, definitely if we could start kind of pushing that. And yes, absolutely have to echo the daytime shows, especially while, to enjoy the sunshine, and everybody knows that the sun kills corona. So it would be really good to be able to include a lot of these things to save the industry, really, and just to push it from every possible platform.
Oh, totally. Actually, I now want to, we've got about 14 minutes left of the show, and I do want to get to some live music in a second, but just to transition into that and just to echo this live music, tipping, artists, all the above. I've got a great friend who is in Nashville, he apparently has this title of the most well-known street corner singer, busker in Nashville, and you don't dare step on his turf. That is his turf. So it's, again, that territory thing, and it's a real thing. If you walk into a bar in Nashville, whenever I go support my friends, I never, you always are putting something in the tip jar, because they would do the same thing for me if they were here. They would put something in the tip jar, even if there wasn't a tip jar. They'd find a jar and put a jar on the stage and put, like, that is just the thing. And my very, very first time in Nashville, I was there with my mom. And I was a couple of days in, I was downtown on Lower Broad, and we walk into this beautiful, huge bar, and it's Lower Broadway. It's just bar. I'm walking in, and there's this really cool band, and they're playing all my favorite songs, Fleetwood Mac, Stones. They're playing all the greats, And then they get off stage, and there's just one guy left on the stage, and he starts playing Africa by Toto, and I was like, "It's my song. That's me. I'm the African girl. That's me. And I got so excited. And there was one of the band members walking around, and they had these really cool wooden buckets with them, and they were going from table to table, going and talking to their audience, saying, "Did you enjoy the set? Would you like us? Are there any cover requests? And if you like us, would you consider just throwing something in the bucket, and I was like, you know, it's 18 rand for $1, but here's a few dollars, you know, here's my money. It's so expensive for me. But again, it's that they were working for their crowd and they were wanting to please you, and we were responding to them. Those buckets were filled with dollars, just, you know, $1 here, $2 here, what people could afford. And just that community thing is, and you feed off of each other. If the crowd is working hard for you, you're working hard for the crowd. It's just that feeding off thing that we just need to find again. We need to encourage that amongst each other as artists, as someone watching it, as an artist watching, as just a normal person watching music, just that community. So speaking of live music, let's do a writer's round. Bruce, are you keen to do a writer's round?
I'm in.
Amazing. So you grab your guitar. I'm going to explain what a writer's round is. So for anyone watching, in Nashville, Tennessee, we have a thing called writer's round. So now open mics happen. They're usually in New York or LA, and you sign up and you sing your song and then you hop off the stage. Nashville, very similar thing, but different. Same, but different. What happens is every single bar, there are 4 people on stage, guys and girls, you know, and they're all plugged in with their guitars and they're all mic'd up, and they each sing an original song in turn. And they go back, and they go back, and they go back, and they do the whole hour. And when the hour's up, they get off, and you guys get on. And this will happen from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This goes on 24 hours a day in every single bar, and it's amazing. So 3 years ago, I brought this concept back to South Africa, and since COVID, #COVID, we haven't had one this year. Very sad, but we get to do it here at the Music Cafe. So, Bruce Dennell, you know, you've been at a few of my writers' rounds.
There we go. Fantastic. All right.
You know the drill.
Should I jump in?
You take it away. You do you, Boo. You know what you do. Oh,
it's out of screen.
Isn't she beautiful? Beautiful.
Let's get the headline going. And I'm just going to turn it away a little bit because she's down. Hear that?
Beautiful.
All right. Fantastic. This one's called Overture. It is available on all the streaming services we've been slagging off all night. So, and then sometime I'll play it live. So come and pay me for that as well. Alrighty, it's called Overture. Tell the future long before it's recognized. The virtue speaker, read the lines and find the new right. Rooftop auditions, emerge on stage and find it's called Cartel. There are conditions, pause the glimpse of we must go without. Overture, places please, curtain up. Once then the victory. Step into spotlights, think that we were born to play this role. Uncluttered rewrites, simple songs to sing with all our soul. Slow crescendo, building through the roof, past the sky. United solos, strong and lonely combined to multiply. Overture, places, please. Curtain up. Once then the retreat. I feel you trembling, shiny as you smile. Let's take it back. Our dreams assembling, Uncle Bravo, our time is now.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Bruce. That's incredible. Beautiful. Love it. Everyone, it's available on all platforms. Go download.
Do what she said.
Awesome. Awesome. That is awesome, Bruce. It's so good to hear you play again. And oh gosh, I miss live music. I miss doing it in person. When I do get little bits and pieces, you just like hold on to it for dear life. It's like eating chocolate. It's very special. It's a special thing. I eat chocolate all the time, but still, it's a special thing.
It counts.
I love chocolate. Well, I think I'm gonna play a song that I wrote. Oh, hang on, sorry. Fame is. I need a sound effects. Unfortunately, I need sound effects. That's the thing. I need sound effects now. I need a DJ who just hangs around, just like plays cool music, and then like does sound effects. And funny if you want to hop in and be a DJ.
I actually do. I was just going to say that Buddy is your girl.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. Can you guys hear the guitar right? Amazing. Always double check. So I'm going to play a song that I wrote with a wonderful writer in Nashville, Tennessee. Her name is Jane Buck. She's written a couple of hits for Reba McEntire, some of the big hits in the country world. And I met her through a producer friend of mine from Canada, and we just got into a room, wrote a couple of tracks that day, got into another room with her, wrote another 2 tracks, and I love writing with her. She's one of those people where you feed off of her energy, and she's a legend, so you just want more of it so you can be her when you grow up, essentially. I want to be her. So I wrote this with Jane Buck and a wonderful girl called Cheyenne Cope, who's also from the States. And these are just some lyrics that Cheyenne brought coming into the room, and we all just hooked onto it. So I think it's kind of pertinent to where we are right now. So it's called Found the Light. So I hope you guys enjoy it. How many days have I spent chasing my tail, yeah. How many days I've drifted around the sun, but I never moved. And busy feels like living, but it's just back and forth. Busy feels like living, but it's just. And busy feels like living, but it's just back and forth. Then dead. But I think I found the light hidden in the cracks. Stepped out of the cave, but there's no going back. Once I saw the color, couldn't live in black and white. And hidden in the cracks, I think I found the light. Breaking out under my skin, yeah, under my skin. And metamorphosis in the end is where I begin. It's where I begin. And I'm feeling like I'm dying, but I'm finally free. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm dying, but I'm free. I'm free. I'm feeling like I'm dying, but I'm finally free from the dark. And I think I found the light hidden in the cracks. stepped out of the cave. Now there's no going back. Once I saw the color, couldn't live in black and white. And hidden in the cracks, I think I found the light. How many days have I spent chasing my tail? Chasing my tail. Breaking under pressure, diamonds under my skin. Diamonds under my skin. The diamonds were under my skin. And I think I found the light, hidden in the cracks. Stepped out of the cave. Now there's no going back. Once I saw the colors, couldn't live in black and white. Hidden in the cracks, I think I found the light. Hidden in the cracks, stepped out of the cave. Now there's no going back. Once I saw the colors, couldn't live in black and white. Hidden in the cracks, I think I found the light. Whew, thank you.
Hooray! A round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing your original music with us. It's always so fantastic to hear originals. Some live acoustic unplugged for Sunday night. It was perfect. Thank you both.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. No, it's really fun to be able to do this, and like I said, I miss performing. But you know, we've come now to the end of toward the end of our show now, which is very sad because whenever this happens, I always feel like this conversation should keep going. There's far too much to talk about. But what I wanted to tap into now is just to sort of round off the conversation, because y'all have all been on radio. Y'all kind of, you've all been around here for a minute. You guys kind of know what you're doing now in this industry. And when it comes to the industry, I see you, Bunny, how the industry was when you guys got into it and how it's going now, especially with online podcasts and radio and iTunes and Spotify, all the above. How is radio changing and you guys being involved in artists' lives and in their careers? Has it always been this way where, like, Kerry-Anne, you are so involved in artists and their lives, and so is Bruce, and so are you, Bunny. You're so involved in people's lives, and you keep tabs on these artists. Has it always been that way, or is it just your personal touch? I don't know if Kerry-Anne, you want to start.
Gosh, that's a tough one because there's so many more platforms now, and we kind of often get lost in the craziness of it all, right, Bunny, Bruce? A lot of people listen to online radio around the world and podcasts, as you said. So gone are the days when you got to a club and you went, there's Barney Simon, because you're at the zoo, and he's a real icon. We could be walking place and not many people know who we are, so the platform has changed in that way, and I do think that a lot of the DJs are doing a lot for South African music and supporting local as much as possible, and others aren't so much, but I think if we all just followed the quotas and played at least 4 songs per hour from around South Africa, and there's more than enough material. A lot of the DJs are moaning, well, there isn't much material, and so I guess I'll play Johnny Clegg or Mango Groove again or Brenda Fassie, and all of those artists are phenomenal, but you don't have to be playing those 3 artists day in and day out, because there are hundreds and thousands of incredibly talented artists, and if the DJs took a little bit more time and researched a little more, then they'd know that there's a lot more to play than 3 or 4 artists. So I think there's across the board, anyone championing our music, and it also shouldn't be that. I've also dropped the SA tag, because our artists are just as talented, if not more talented, than artists from around the world. So I don't want to. The only reason I ever brought up SA music is because often people in South Africa didn't realize that a band was actually from South Africa, and I wanted them to realize that and to go out and watch the live show. But I also, DJs around the world don't go, hey, this band is from London. They just go, here's the band. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change the mindset in that regard. But we all just need to support. And just quickly jumping back to the fact that you were busking the other day and tip jars in the States. I speak to Richard Sturton often, who is also on a music show, as we all know. And he's a busker in Liverpool. That's all he does. And he makes a lot. I've watched him in Liverpool, actually. I see him whenever I'm there. And he makes enough money busking 3 hours a day to pay for his rent and his lifestyle. So, so we need to support in whatever way we can venues that aren't necessarily live venues. Let the artists come and play, bookstores, theaters, piazzas, restaurants. Get the artists, let them busk, do tip jars, pay them a fee, whatever it may be. But let's just all support each other a little more, and let's share. You do, and as you do, Bunny, just keep on sharing the posts, and again, do it tastefully, because you don't want to be a billboard and you don't want to irritate people too much. So it's all about that.
True. Yeah, and just what you're saying about South African artists. I mean, I remember I've been in this industry since I was 12. I love to say I earned my first paycheck when I was 12 years old doing what I do. So I love this industry, and I always want to sort of stay positive and speak positively about it. But when I was signed to a record label, local record label, I was 18 years old, wet behind the ears, and it was right when you had to play 90% South African or local music on radio stations, right at that moment, and that's when I released my first singles. Call it Providence, call it Grace, or whatever you want, stars aligning. That is what happened with my career. And that's when my music was launched. That's when my real recording artist career was launched. And the industry has changed since then. It's loosened up a bit. It's not now 90%. It's now perhaps up to a DJ every now and then as well. But Bunny and I were chatting when we saw each other a few weeks ago, just how sound playlisting and how there might be certain quotas and rules when it comes to playlisting and all that. And Bunny, you've also mentioned us where you're at as well. So when it comes to original South African music, what are your thoughts? I mean, Kerry-Anne, I know what you've said. I totally agree with that. There's so much talent. And what do you say as well, Bunny? What do you think?
I must say that, I'm absolutely have to commend the likes of Kerry-Anne and Bruce for absolutely being champions. And I know that I could probably do more on my digital platforms. I'm a terrible digital. I'm the worst digital person ever, even for my own brand. But we're not going to talk about that now. And yes, with the quotas and things that you're supposed to be doing on air, it's good for us to be able to be profiling South African music. And I love what Kerry-Anne said about not punting something and saying that, like, you have to, say that this is a local track. The standard of music, the scope, like the full, how many different genres that come out. You are absolutely spoiled for choice. It is not hard to find other people other than Johnny Clegg and Manga Groove. And as you said, phenomenal artists, but lots of new music coming out. As I said, across all kinds of genres. I suppose, when it comes to, I don't know if I'm trying to change the world from a mentality thing, but it's just got to be like the demand is also going to be there. It's one thing for the punters to punt, for DJs and celebrities to push things, but we've also got to change our attitudes as South Africans and kind of stop this thing where only overseas things are nice and good, and we only kind of recognize how good our guys are once they're making noise overseas. I know we're going to claim them forever. Charlize Theron will forever be from Benoni. She's never anything else. But it is one of those. Yeah, but she's always going to be ours, and that's cool. But I think it's important that we value and honor and encourage and pay our artists while they're here, while they're making their art right here. And I mean, you saw my jaw on the floor about Richard Sturton, who won the show. He clocked the game. He finished the show and won it and took home the trophy. And for him to be a busker, I think, just busking. But actually, no, he gets to play his music the way he wants to, as you're saying, 3 hours a day and have a livelihood. And that's all any South African artist, any artist anywhere, is looking to do, is to be able to play the music they love, to make the music they love, and to make a livelihood out of it. And yeah, I think the more of us want more South African music and demand more tunes from wherever we are, from our Spotify's, from our radios, on our digital platforms, and just really, like honor, but like just, give them their just deserves, because they're just as good or better than anything that's out there. So
credit where it's due, I guess. Credit where it's due. Yeah, totally.
I think part of that,
Bruce as well.
Yeah, so part of that, the credit where it's due point is and it ties back to Kerry, both of these points, Kerry-Anne and Ben, is expertise on the part of the, as you mentioning us and we, and Kerry mentioned Barney, and there's Alex J, and there's all these lovely people in the past, and the late partner Dennell now, and so on and so on, who were experts, and that's the crux of this here, and all of you are experts, and that's wonderful, and I'm happy to say I'm an expert, and it's not an arrogant, stupid thing to say. It's, I know what I'm talking about if I'm talking about music, or if I'm talking about writing, publishing, whatever it might be. These are things I've done my 10,000 hours in, and this is one of the challenges with the digital space, is that everybody can have a platform, but they haven't done the hard yards. Now, Ellie, you're young, and so people will go, oh, she's young, so she doesn't have the experience. But that's garbage, because as you said, you started when you were 12. Well, your first paycheck when you were 12, you started when you were like a month or something. I don't know, you were learning jazz hands. But whatever it is, you have done. There we go. You've done the yards. You've put in the hours. And you've committed to it, and you've proven yourself. Again, I'm as a musician, my greatest triumphs, if you like, are getting positive feedback from people I hugely admire. Robin Ald is a fan of mine, for crying out loud. He's one of the reasons I got into.
He's amazing. I've written with him. He is amazing.
I got into music. And and he phones me with unprovoked and says, I love this new song. And you're going, that's your chest just explodes. Kerry, you said earlier something about supporting people, and you mentioned the word suicide. I have two people have come up to me years apart in 2 different songs and said that song stopped me committing suicide.
Wow. That is so beautiful.
That's massive success. I never need to make I'd love to make money. I never need to make a cent out of music, because 2 people are alive today because I've bothered to follow through. And just again, you're saying support and don't be a billboard and don't spam people. But if you know what you're talking about, then you're not spamming. You're not just going, here's some more hype and here's some more junk and I'll throw it in your face, and hopefully you'll fall for it and sucker, because that's what's diluting everything. We're damaging everything else that we're talking about by going, let's try and fit 100 semi-talented, semi-hardworking, semi-whatever people in here, where 10 doing more would be phenomenal. But we need to stand our ground on that as well. And as I say, I mean, pick the best people for the job, whoever it is. We can. That's another South African thing we need to get into. We always, there are race issues. They're there. Let's not run away. Pick the best person for the job. Let's not go, I must have it because I was there first, or you were there first, or I have a larger audience, or you have a larger audience. There are so many tastes. There are so many ears to cater to. There are so many heart songs to metaphorically and literally. We can do so much, but we need to stand our ground and not go, this big marketing machine, whatever it is out hyping us and confusing us. Let's keep our integrity. Let's keep our focus, and let's support hard. Let's really put ourselves out there to support those who are doing mind-boggling work without the South African tag, as you say. The person lives 3 doors down, but they made something better than anybody else in the world on their day. So let's just get ridiculously excited about that and run around screaming. You know, it's so great. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm sensing there's just a little bit of passion about this subject. Just a little bit of passion. You know, I'm just got a feeling about it. I mean, no, this this whole conversation has just been full of heart and passion, and like you said, Bruce, you guys kind of know what you're talking about. You kind of know what you guys are speaking about right now, and I think it's so important as young artists, as up and comings, wherever you are in the spectrum of, you know, from here to whatever success is to you, define your own success. Wherever you are, listening to this conversation between Bruce, Bunny, and Kerry-Anne, you guys have just been. I want to take it on. I want to just sponge everything in, and I don't think this is the last conversation. I do think that there are more conversations that we should have. I know Bruce has a whole lot more knowledge that I still need to get out of you. Same with Bunny. Same with Kerry-Anne. There's so many aspects that we haven't even spoken about yet. And I would love to have you guys back on in the very near future, just to again talk about more stuff. It's important. I think the thing that we're speaking about is important going forward in this new world. We're not going back to anything normal. People are scared. People are cautious, and it's how do we approach it? How do we become excellent in our craft, and how do we become supportive? And like you said, Bruce, let's work hard at being supportive. Let's make it our job. Let's click the share button on Facebook. Very, very tough thing to do. Click the share button, say great band. Let's work hard at it. Let's do it. That is going to be my goal for this week, to share things on Facebook. That's my goal. Yes, you've put a fire underneath me. Yeah. So, you know, I'm very sad to say we have come to the end of this discussion. But like I've mentioned with up and comings, I think we should go around the room and just speak about if you guys have any pearls of wisdom. And I know you don't have just one. I know you've got at least 25 in your purse. The one purse, you've got 4 other purses. So if we can just, if there's a few pearls of wisdom that you'd like to share, Kerry-Anne, or I'll ask Bruce. Bruce, do you mind starting with that? Just some pearls of wisdom.
Look, I think as a creative person, you're a musician and a writer and whatever, I think and there will be cliches throughout this section, I think, but
sure.
stay true to what you do, because nobody else can do it. That said, don't be lazy. You know, stay true, get it done on time. I'm a deadlines guy. That's my whole life as an editor. You know, get it done on time as well as you can. You know, and again, if for instance you are doing it better than I do it, that's okay. So what? You know, I must then hold you accountable to make sure you keep that quality level, and you must hold me accountable to make sure I keep my quality level, which we do as friends. We have done that already. You know, but it's this case of stay true to what you do. My music is my music. I don't write heavy metal. I don't write rap. I don't write this and that and the next thing. There are other people doing that much better and with all of their heart, and it makes sense to them, and it's probably, and it speaks to the people they want to speak to. We need that to happen. We can't all reach the same audience. So, you know, be true, but again, work hard, man. Just on it. And if it is your spot, then working hard will not feel like hard work at all. I'll throw in my little punch here for my blog, brucedennell.co.za. It's called Participate, which combines art and working together. Art, participate. And I mean, I've got nearly 1,100 stories on there now, you know, but it's a passion thing. You get to chat to amazing people and write their stories about their art and share their talent. So it doesn't feel like work. And it reaches wherever it reaches. You know, it's on the web, so it gets all over the place. So those are my basic ones. You know, be you, basically do what you do, but you know, don't just go, well, I did something different and that's lovely. If it's terrible, it needs to be great. So make it great. Do your best.
Yes, I think the thing is, Bruce, whenever you speak, I just sort of take it and I write everything down in my brain. That's the irritating thing about you. So yes. It's very
just as
right.
A massive brain.
Thanks. You're saying I've got a big head. No, thanks. No, you know what? Oh, sorry. Fame just commented here. It shouldn't be pearls. It should be book of pearls. Yeah, it's not just pearls, it's a book of pearls. Yes. I'm working on a book of pearls. I think it's a good idea. So I think I don't want to repeat what you're saying, but what you've just said has really hit me, because I remember back in the beginning when I was doing this, and I took my craft very seriously from a young age. I was performing, I was working on my craft, I was dressing for the job that you want. It was that mentality that I would do, and I would be mocked. I would rock up to a gig dressed up as a 13-year-old, but like dressed up, and makeup on, hair done, warmed up, songs, everything ready, and I'd be mocked for doing that. I would be mocked, and and I remember these two boys. I remember the moment. I remember the place that I was sitting, and two boys saying, "Oh no, it's all about the music." People's all about. I'm like, and I get it. It's about music. Music makes you feel something. Bruce, your music has saved lives. Quite literally, your music saved lives. So I get that it's about the music, but it's not just about, like you say, just being lazy. It's about being who you are, but then taking it seriously and working hard at that. But because it's who you are, it's an easy thing to do. So it's that catch-22, but a positive thing.
Those two guys at that table, we aren't on their show.
That's so funny. That's really, thank you, Bruce. That's very kind. That's
I like all apples.
No, that's so funny. No, thank you, Bruce. So no, what you said has just cut me deep, Shrek. It's cut me deep. So yeah, thank you. That's definitely for the book of pearls for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Bunny, I know that you've done everything from being on a singing competition to presenting. You've done everything. So I mean, like, your pearls of wisdom are like, the length of 2 arms. So I mean, pearls of wisdom.
Bruce did say that there's probably going to be a lot of cliches in this, and so
that's fine.
I almost feel like I'm going to say the same thing that he said, just in another way, but really just to remind you that they and also, this is, it's not like I'm casting pearls to other people. I mean, I have to psych myself up every day as well. I have to talk myself into the things that Bruce said, to work hard. I think sometimes when you're talented, it's easy for you to just coast and kind of go and kind of get things where if somebody worked harder, you might find yourself. There are a lot of like mediocre superstars.
Sure.
I mean, if I could say somebody like, I love Madonna, I love Britney Spears, but they're not like Aretha Franklin singers. Do you know what I mean? That being said, there is space for everyone under the sun. So a Britney or a Madonna, who I'm like from a singing perspective, is not the equal of a whatever, has no bearing on the fact that they work hard, they have a fantastic team around them, they follow their and they do the things, and they are exactly who they are. And that's why they're stars. So it's exactly as Bruce said, to stay true to who you are, be exactly who you are, but work hard and put in the hours and work on the craft and be. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, this is the advice I need every day. Is to put in the hours and really plot your trajectory and just go for it in the face of people that are laughing at you. I mean, I've also been, battle of the bands where people want to beat you up in the parking lot because I'm not me. So it is one of those things where you've just got to keep going and know that you are enough, know that you are good enough. And if you're not good enough, get the skills that you feel that you need. Work hard on it every day, do the research and find a mentor, find somebody who's going to show you. And Kerry-Anne said something earlier about there not being a rule book. There's not kind of a recipe book for success anywhere, but there are successful people that get on the line, irritate them, slide into their DMs and ask for the advice that you need and be relentless, really, because I think that's really what it takes. But another thing that Bruce said that struck me as well is that if you're in the right groove, it won't really feel like work. It just kind of feels like it's supposed to. So yeah, that was my pep talk for the day.
Speaking to yourselves, I love that. Yeah. Oh, I love everything you've said. You've just like hit words, and I'm going. I love it when people speak my language, and like word team. I think team is very important. Yeah. And that's not like just having a manager or having a publisher. It's not just that. It's having the foundations, having the support, it's having the mentors, it's having the people to call. It's such a good word. And the word networking, I've always found it's such an dirty word in South Africa to network, but yet the successful people do it. Everyone that's actually in the industry is networking, but it's seen as this bad thing. Everywhere else, totally normal. We all network, and to slide in people's DMs. I have slid into so many people. I will hunt you down. I'm that sort of person. So yes, slide into DMs, hunt people down, ask for help, for goodness sake.
The worst they can do is say no and block you forever. That's all.
It's only Instagram. That's it.
You don't need blockers. You don't need blockers.
You don't need the your blocker's gonna block. You know, to quote Taylor Swift or something. No, it's so true, Bun. You're hitting again. You're cutting me deep, Shrek. You're cutting me deep. You're hitting me with
Literally
my words.
what Bruce said, Bruce, that way. Literally what Bruce said.
Wrong way, but you got it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Kerry-Anne, thank you so much for being on this evening. And I know I've said this a million times, but just I haven't even tapped into the first layer of all your knowledge. and I'm really sorry for not doing that, because there's more questions I want to ask you, and I would just love to have you back and just sort of drain you of more information. But just you're incredible, Kerry-Anne, and I would just if you have any pearls of wisdom for anyone up and coming in the industry, or just some words of encouragement.
Firstly, I agree with everything that Bruce and Bunny have said, and they really do go deep, and they are serious pearls of wisdom. They're whole necklaces of wisdom. But I would say grab every single opportunity. Every single opportunity is an opportunity gained, and you should just grab it, go with it. And as Bruce said, he's done more than 10,000 hours. Do as much as you can with every single opportunity you get given, because it makes you better. Also, be professional. I think a lot of bands out there, a lot of artists think worldwide it's all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and they'll find out very soon that those artists, and I'm not saying don't play hard, play damn hard, but work hard too, and make your life and fulfill your dreams. And being professional is so important, because you'll be respected so much more in the industry. So get to the sound check on time. Finish when you're supposed to. Respect the venues, respect the audience, respect your fellow bands and band members. So important, because it is a job like any other, as we were talking about earlier, doctors, lawyers. It is a job, and it's your job. The only difference is that you are lucky enough to inspire so many people, to save so many lives, to create on a daily basis. So the artists out there that are making music, they're living, or one of their 2 or 3 jobs, they're lucky. You are lucky. So you need to appreciate the gift that you've been given and work on it. So just respect your talent and your creativity and everyone around you. So grab the opportunities, be respectful, spread the love, and I think you'll go far. And just to thank Bunny, you get more and more beautiful every day, and you are absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, I could literally just throw that ball back into your court. You are exquisite. And as I said, absolutely ageless, Miss Allerston, because I don't know. When we're off air, you have to tell me about this fountain of youth. Because you're exquisite, and really you've been, I mean, I look to you when I'm thinking about, what to do, how to be, and the things, when I'm trying to get my stuff in a lane. I absolutely look to people like you. I look to Bruces of the world as well as you, Ali. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. I think sometimes we kind of get it in our heads that mentors have to be far, far away, and they're just so far beyond us. But your peers can inspire you, your brothers and sisters. Although really, Kerry-Anne is very far away. She's in the future, career-wise. Yes, it's important for us to encourage one another. So I thank you so much. I take the compliment, but it's so hard because you are who you are. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, just my teeth.
And you have definitely done your 10,000 and so much more. So thank you for supporting creatives and in so many different fields as well. You're a prince of many trades, and I can't wait to hear more of your music, and I can't wait to have you on my show. And Alexandra, you have accomplished so much for your age, and age isn't really a thing. I'm not being ageist, but you're
no, we're being jealous. Not being ageist. Yeah. Like if we had been there, we were your age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for everything that you do. Good luck with all of your adventures, and just well done on everything that you've accomplished so far.
Thank you
so much for having us all on the show, and thank you to Nguyen behind the scenes for hosting.
No, awesome. No, thank you. Thank you, Kerry. That's really sweet. Thank you. And I love that there is so much support, and there's so much genuine heart and care in everything that you've said. And we need more people like you guys in this room. We need more people like you. And so I hope that whatever you have, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I hope whatever you have is contagious. And now that I'm saying it, I don't know if, but I hope whatever you have is contagious.
What I've got. I keep doing the screen because I've got to blow my nose.
Oh man, and you've been such a trooper. Thank you so much, Kerry. I know you've been such a trooper. Thank you so much for that. All of you, all three of you, thank you so much for spending your Saturday evening here with me, having good fat chats. And like I said, I've only tapped into the first level, and I would love to have you all back in the very near future. But for now, guys, go ahead, go sleep. I'll chat to you guys in the week. Thank you so much for being on the show. Good night, guys. You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye. Bye. What an amazing show! I can't believe the amount of knowledge in this room. Honestly, just incredible. Bruce, Kerry-Anne, Bunny, you guys are all incredible. And I know I've got a whole bunch of comments here, and I mean, Fanny, I know. What a show, right? What a show. Just absolutely incredible. And that Book of Pearls is definitely coming along. Every show, I say this every show, that I'm going to one day write a book based on all the pearls of wisdom that I've picked up on these episodes, and we're on episode 18, so we've got a big book. We got a big book of pearls of wisdom. So what an amazing show. Thank you so much to you guys for sticking around and watching all your comments and questions. If you have any more questions or anything you want to ask, DM any one of us. We're available. We're those people that will respond to you, and we'll be there for you. If you forget who they are, DM me, Alexandra May Music. I will connect you. I promise I will connect you as best I can. But for now, guys, stay safe. Call your loved ones, and I will see you guys same time, same place next week. Bye.
I ain't no typical